I don't want to.
It's about to ruin the rest of our days now.
It isn't, but I feel if I acknowledge it, maybe I can finally let it go.
I got you, moonlight, you're my sun.
I've always been a firm believer that much of the appeal
I
of
use that one.
'Cause if you like the way.
Remember all those dangerous songs?
What are you doing?
I had the hot buttons for the safe songs and the dangerous songs when you were at home.
Yes,
That
yes.
was from that bit.
Gotcha.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Have you been listening to
Fleetwood
me?
Mac. What?
Have you been listening to me?
Oh, I have been.
Okay.
You'd be
So
amazed
why?
what I hear when
What
it
are
looks
you
like I'm
doing?
not hearing. And I'm just playing with the buttons.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm
Are
ready.
you waiting for me? Is
I'm
that your
always
way?
waiting
is
for
that
you.
Is that what you're doing?
Hit it!
This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
And we made it 3 years.
Well, not exactly. It's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, of which we've only been doing this less than 100 episodes. But the radio show, yes, 3 years ago today, we took off the training wheels. And it became
Today,
a program.
or we did 3 years ago. Now the training wheels come off.
In 3 months, we get to have the 3-year anniversary of the end of the probationary period of the show. Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Friday, February 11, 2022. February 11, 2019 was our first show together. Mm-hmm. So with the pandemic in here, and point out for everybody, again, the really good point of what's happened over the 3 years, everything that's happened, which includes like a pandemic. We knew of computers that got hacked.
Yes.
We just,
It's
all
like
this
I started
stuff.
and the world fell apart.
Yeah, it was just all this stuff.
Sorry.
So,
Not sorry, because it's been a really fun 3 years. And as I said yesterday, it's when you say 3 years, it sounds like a long time, but it hasn't felt like a long time. And yet it feels longer than that because of the comfort. And I think how relaxed it is between you and I. In fact, some of the comments even said that. So contrary to how we may feel.
what, like from listeners?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And we'll get into that more, of course. We're going to talk about that. And I would like to talk about some of the more memorable moments because there's
Okay.
one in particular that still jumps out. It was early on and it still haunts me. And I'm hoping that
Haunts you?
if I acknowledge it,
Okay.
then I can let it go.
Okay, can I help you let it go then?
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Oh, well, I absolutely wanted to. I don't
Sure
want
you
anything to
will.
haunt you.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, my
But
gosh.
it's memorable too. It's a
Okay.
standout moment. So I did put the question to you too. So I'm curious to know if anything came to mind or if
Nothing.
you're just going to nothing.
Not a darn
It's
thing.
just been bleh for 3 years.
I am a man.
Oh, there's gotta
Short-term
be.
memory. Yesterday's
Anyway,
show's gone.
we'll
I'm
talk
already
about it.
planning Monday's show. Everything in the rearview mirror, gone. Can't be touched. Only working on the foil.
Mm-hmm.
Only moving forward.
Okay.
I'm a guy.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Okay. Like you don't remember anything.
Oh, I remember it.
That's what I mean.
But I don't.
There's got to be little pockets or little pictures that jump out at you.
But something I
that
need
take you
to
back.
get off my chest so I can let it go? No.
Well, I'm
Like you
hoping
said,
because
no.
it still comes up.
Okay. All right then.
It still
Wow.
sneaks in there.
I feel awful then if I've somehow.
Oh no! It has nothing to do with you. It's all me, and that's why it keeps coming up. But anyway, we'll talk about it later.
Wow.
We've built it up now, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about it in a bit. We've got other things to talk about first.
At the time of the taping of this podcast, Canada leads Sweden 9-0 at
Oh
the
my
Olympics
gosh.
in women's hockey in the quarterfinals. And I think it is message delivered to the United States. Look at us midway through the game. We're up 9-0. And as much as, you're probably right that they could sit and say, well, we don't care. It doesn't matter till you play us. It's a pretty strong message to send out. And poor Sweden. Sorry
I don't
about
know many people who would argue the strength of Canada, though. I don't know that this is really a message or more just, again, a clear indication as to how strong
that. Yeah.
we are in hockey.
And as much as people talk about, shouldn't it be a mercy rule? And there was one article in the Toronto Star that said we should get women's hockey out of the Olympics because there's only
no.
2 good teams and everybody else
No.
is just fodder and nothing matters until the gold medal game. To me, as a fan of hockey, of women's hockey in the program, we have Tara Sloan on the show a
Yeah.
lot. We talk about this is important. As much as it looks like a
course it
blowout,
is.
this is important for Sweden when they play today to say, how good do we need to be to compete on an international level? And if we never give them the opportunity to see it, women's hockey will never develop. I'm sure there was a
No.
point back in the 1930s, like when we talk about the Belleville McFarlands winning a hockey championship. These guys out of Belleville, not a professional quote unquote hockey team, guys out of Belleville went and won a world championship. And I'm sure a lot of these other teams probably said, well, these guys don't have a lot of funding, didn't have great coat right. And say, okay, if we want to compete at that level, we got to step up. If we never show the world how good you have to be,
Yeah.
then the sport itself cannot develop.
Well, and what does that say to young girls too?
There you go.
That's where I look at it from. This is an example of and an encouragement for young girls to continue to play hockey. Girls hockey now is bigger than it's ever been.
Right.
And it's going to grow. Girls can play hockey just like the guys can.
Yeah.
And clearly
Great hockey. Yep.
just as good and just as deserving to be on a world platform. So to say that it should be just because we're, yes, better at this stage doesn't mean that it should be taken away completely.
That's right. Yep. And
Someone
simply-
in Sweden, a little girl in Sweden, is
gonna
going to
say,
see this game
completely.
and be like, wow, look at
Yeah.
that. I can, that's what I can strive to be.
And even better, she's going to say, I'm going to make my team better.
Yes.
When I grow up, I want to beat Canada. Great.
Yes.
Great.
Exactly.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Because at one time we weren't. And another great example is Canada. And again, it takes away, it has nothing to do with the Winter Olympics, but another sport, soccer, Canadian soccer.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we sucked. We were
a joke.
horrible.
Yeah.
It was laughable that we had a soccer team. And
Yeah.
now look at them.
Yeah.
They're beating some of the top teams in the world.
Apparently, we're number 32 in the world. Of the 35 best soccer playing nations, Canada would be spoken of in that group.
Yes.
And there was a time, I don't think we were in the top 100.
Exactly.
So, we'd go to the Americas and try and qualify for the World Cup.
And get laughed at.
And get laughed at. We wouldn't score a goal.
Yeah.
We'd come last. I think we were only better than the Vatican at one point. I think that was it. It was us and the Vatican.
You need to have that sort of not competition, I suppose, but that
Motivation.
level, yes, to compete against, to get to better yourself. You're not going to get better playing teams at your level or below. You're going to get better playing better teams. They're going to bring it out in you. You're going to have to.
And you don't take it away from Canada and the U.S.
Goodness,
because they're
no.
this dominant and think that somehow you're helping everybody
Not just
else.
Canada and the U.S., but countries around, like it'd be gone.
Yeah. It's like saying we're going to have women's hockey in the Olympics, but Canada and the U.S. can't play. Like that's what.
Yeah.
So that's what you want, because that would be more quote unquote competitive. That would be more equal. They've really missed the point, I think.
Absolutely.
But,
With the Olympics, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't gotten rid of downhill skiing because the Austrians kick our tail every
Norway
Olympics, right?
is just
and Norway
dominating.
we know that going in.
We're currently sitting in fourth place with 12 medals, 7 bronze, 4 silver, and that 1 gold. Mm-hmm. And it's that
We'll
gold
end up with more.
but it's that gold that's also causing a bit of controversy as well.
Yeah.
The gold and the bronze for the snowboard event we saw earlier this week went to Canada. Max Perot got the gold. Mark McMorris got the bronze. And now Mark McMorris is saying he should have got the gold. So it's within like two Canadian
Canadians. This
athletes
is
are
so
arguing over who
un-Canadian.
should have been. So very interesting, that gold medal.
Yeah, he claims that part of the required, like you're supposed to grab
Yes.
the board, he didn't grab the
He
board.
grabbed his knees. Max
his
Perot
knees.
grabbed his legs under his knee instead of the board. Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to grab the board. And Max said, Perot says, I know I did. I'm not hiding from it.
But what are you going to do about
But
it?
the
at this point?
judges
Right.
gave me this mark.
Yeah.
Whereas Mark, who I love, Mark McMorris, I do. He said I clearly gave the best run and got the bronze. So
And
he's a little upset about
it's
that.
like having compulsories in figure skating. You should have deducted points because that person didn't do the compulsory. Well,
Mm-hmm.
judge missed. It's not my fault. They gave me that score. So, yeah, I
But
see his
then-
point. But on the other hand, what are you going to do about it?
But then we see the speed skating this morning, or the
Yeah.
relay. And in Canada's heat, the Team China, they fell.
Yeah.
They hit, I'm going to say they hit Canada. The blades hit.
They touched, right?
Yeah, they touched. And China fell and finished last. Somehow, it looks like they're moving on to the A final along with Canada.
And
Again, the judging, I would think.
the game is afoot, no pun intended. Because
would the same happen if it was the other way around?
Or if the games weren't in China. That's what you're thinking.
Exactly.
It's so much fun to talk about.
It really is.
It is. Good events on the weekend,
We got to
too.
stop turning it on in the mornings.
Yeah, I gotta get up tomorrow morning and watch it like a regular viewer would watch it, and not get so hung up. And of course, Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday.
Oh,
'cause
my!
there's not a
Speaking of
lot.
sports and getting hung up in it.
Oh my gosh! From
This
all
weekend's
of the,
crazy.
All of the prop bets, from the length of the national anthem to the color of the Gatorade to who's coming out first in the halftime show.
Well,
to
and
who's going to win the darn thing?
One we didn't talk about either that I saw was what Marvel Stars commercial will air first. Because there's a handful of actors from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Brie Larson is in one for Nissan. Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen are in one for Lay's, and Scarlett Johansson and her husband Colin Jost are in one for Amazon. So there's a prop bet saying which one's going to air first. I think it'll be the Lay's one, but
I think it'll be Paul Rudd.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
Paul
Lay's
Rudd's.
one.
Yeah.
But there's prop bets for everything.
Oh, there absolutely
everything.
is. And it's what separates us from the lower animals. We have prop bets on Super Bowls.
We got to put it on everything.
I really like the idea of Matthew Stafford. Let me say this. I forgot to say this on the air this morning. It was something
Okay,
I'm
go.
thinking about driving in.
Yes.
Being a New England Patriot fan and thinking for 20 years we owned the Super Bowl
Yes.
because we were just...
You did.
For
You
20
did
years,
own
we
it.
were in 9 of them, right? So it's like... Tom Brady has played in 15% of all Super Bowls. Like it's a dumb number. But my point is, I really feel like this is the Super Bowl I'm most looking forward to watching that doesn't involve New England. Like
Really?
this one I am excited to watch. Usually as I'm disappointed because your team isn't in it.
Yeah.
Or if you're like
And
a
you could really
Lions
be,
fan,
yeah, right,
they're
who's
never
playing-
in
yeah.
it, so you're just used to it. But this one, I'm looking forward to this
Why?
game. I don't know.
You mentioned Stafford because of Stafford and
yeah.
Burrows, because
Joe Burrows is such a great story. Cincinnati, you know what? 2 years ago, they were the worst team in the National Football League. Hence, got the first pick overall, took Joe Burrows. And then last year, he tore up his ACL as a rookie. And so then that's it. They win 4 games. So they get to pick high again. They take Jamar Chase, who was Joe Burrows' wide receiver at LSU the year they won the national championship. So he stayed another year. So now they're reacquainted.
It's
and
like
now they're
Brady
going to the
and
Super
Gronk.
Bowl. Yeah, it's exactly like that from college. But the thing I love is that it would appear Cincinnati did it right. You're the worst team in the league. You get to pick high for a couple of years, and now you're on top of the league. That's the way it's supposed to work. So when these people like the New York Jets, which get to pick top 5 every year because they're always awful and can never seem to get it right, it's like, how can you cheer for these guys? They never get it right.
well, they're
So-
not in the Super Bowl, so
Yeah,
you don't
and
have
the
to.
Lions
And-
never get
yeah.
to pick. They always get to pick high, and they're never
And they
there.
just don't do it.
They just seem to keep puking up the picks. And then at the end of the year, they take a look at, well, the Lions missed out on this guy, and this guy. Because, who got taken in the second round, who's an all-star this year? Well, look at all the teams that passed on these guys. I mean, that's, Brady went in the 6th round. That's kind of an
Wow.
obvious one.
Yeah.
But when you take a look at, the Cleveland Browns picked Baker Mayfield. They could have had Josh Allen for Buffalo, who got votes for MVP. Patrick Mahomes didn't go first overall. Chicago passed on him, took Mitch Trubisky as their quarterback.
Who?
A few years ago. Could have had Patrick Mahomes, right? So
Yeah.
when I take a look at Cincinnati 2 years ago, grease fire. This year, Super Bowl. And I think good on them.
Yes.
And they deserve to be rewarded for being a great organization and finally winning one. But poor Matthew Stafford, after a dozen years in Detroit, is going to a Super Bowl his first year out with LA. So on the other hand,
And
it's
doesn't
like,
he kind of
good for
deserve
him.
it too?
Yeah, he does.
Like it's that.
Cooper Cup and picking up Odell
I liked
Beckham,
Cooper
which was
Cup.
so
That's
good.
just fun to say. Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup
Cooper Cup.
helped me until the playoffs in my fantasy football league.
Now don't do so well on
Right.
Sunday.
But I take a look at both teams and I say there's no villain. There's no boo, a team you don't like.
You know it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I
just
really
going to
do.
be a good game.
I think it will be. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, well over 48
That's what you said
and a half.
this morning. Our
Yep.
our prop bet this morning was over 48 in combined.
48
I
and a
believe
half,
48 and a
yep.
half. And you said it was going to be well into the 60s.
I
So
think the
let's see how that goes.
highest quarterback, the highest score in a Super Bowl was Philadelphia, New England when Philadelphia
I was going to say
won.
New England was part of it.
38-31. I should know it.
I
And
saw
at that time, New England scored the most number of points for a team that didn't win. That's how I remember that.
Okay.
But I don't know if it got into the 70 points. This game could have hit 70.
You think?
This game could be a
All right, I'll make note of that
38-35.
too.
And it's on the podcast. I can't take it back.
Nope.
It could be a 38-35. Every 2.5 minutes, somebody's scoring something. Big play, big play, big play. Interception. Bring it back. Kickoff return.
You said
run it
about
down.
taking this home. I'm going to take mine home too, just so I can follow along.
Yeah, I think that's the most exciting thing is that by halftime, everybody's going to be tweeting, oh my God, what is going on here?
You think so by halftime? Because it's usually the second half where
Right.
everything kind of
Yeah.
explodes.
Yeah.
I think the first half will be quiet. But then again, that's because the Patriots are usually involved.
Yeah, so they
And
know,
the Patriots
right?
kinda hold
They're
back.
patient. Yeah, they get the fact that it's
and then the halftime show, and then boom,
yeah,
everything
then
happens.
they go in, they
You're
make
right.
the
So it
changes, and they
may-
come out. But Cincinnati, these kids, Joe Burrow's what, 25?
He's not going to hold back.
They're kids, yeah. And they probably think, what if we're never here again? Look like they could be, but what if we're not here again?
Well, and that was one of the things that I like so much about him, and I said this to you, is because he's so young. It looks like he should be blowing bubbles on the sideline, like
Yeah.
chewing gum. He's
Yeah.
just hanging out. He's having fun. Like he looks very relaxed and just out there
Yep.
playing football.
Drinking
and
it in.
just
Like
enjoying
I said,
it.
they should play the game in the afternoon because I'm sure his mom doesn't let him play when the streetlights are on. Like he's out too late.
But he's yet older than what Brady was when
Brady
he
was
started.
when he
so,
hit
and
his first one.
Got to remember that.
So
but
that plus Matthew Stafford, the teams are both well coached. There's no villains. There's no bad guys. There's no players out there
No.
that people don't like the way some people are kind of railing
So
against.
really, get your food, sit back, and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And the halftime show.
Yeah.
That's going to be spectacular.
I think it's going to be really, really good. I think Kendrick Lamar's coming out first.
See,
and I think California
Eminem.
loves the first song.
I think Eminem's going to be
Okay.
the first one out.
Yeah.
I think they'll
on the props.
start with maybe one of the bigger guys and have him come out first, and then Kendrick Lamar, and then the hologram of Tupac, and then Snoop and Dr. Mary J. And I
Mary
think-
J. Blige will be second. They won't make her wait. That's just
You don't
bad
think so?
optics. Yeah.
Oh,
Let
I
her
don't
come
know.
out there.
I almost
Yeah.
think she'll be either. I think Dr. Dre will be the last one out.
Yeah.
And I think she'll either be just before him or it'll be switched between her and Snoop because I think she's big enough
Oh, I think she's huge. yeah.
that she will be close to.
Yeah.
They will make people wait for her.
And there's a reason why she's in. And I'm not saying because it's four guys they needed a woman. They've got these five in mind for a reason.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see
Absolutely.
what the reason is. It's not just we want five individual players to come out and do their hits and then be done. No, they got something up their sleeve. That's why this whole thing about Tupac and a hologram,
yeah.
is like,
Well, it's West Coast,
oh,
right?
Yeah,
It's the West Coast.
for sure. Yeah,
It's that vibe and that music scene and that whole image, we'll say,
Yep.
that they create. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good.
And then, by the way, it's Valentine's Day on Monday. All right.
Just
what else?
reminding you.
Yeah, that's
Today
it.
we celebrated our third, not anniversary, milestone.
Milestone.
Our
3 years.
3 years we've been broadcasting together, and thank you to everyone who messaged in this morning. Some wonderful messages, both on Facebook, on Instagram. Some texted them into us. Emily did a wonderful job putting together a collage of pictures.
She did.
Left us some very nice notes this morning to start the day off right. Thank you for the card, which I almost got the same one for you.
That's crazy,
the
right?
exact same one.
We shop at the same dollar store.
It was awesome. And the treats this morning. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, well, thank you for your treats. They were delicious. I'm already into the milk duds because that's
Good.
what makes the world go
I was hoping
round.
you might share those, so I might
The duds.
I might
They're
steal
on my
a couple
desk.
from you
Haven't finished the whole box.
afterwards. But seeing the collage from Emily, and it came to mind even before, like all this week when we were kind of hinting that today was coming,
Yep.
that it was going to be the 30th anniversary. It always takes me back to one particular moment, and I hesitate to bring it back up
Oh boy.
because I didn't even realize I had done it. And I don't know if I should open the can of worms again. And I really hope, okay, here's the advisory going out to everybody.
And I've agreed, by the way, I'm not going to edit it from here on in.
Okay.
Okay, so.
So
Right.
anyone under the age of 12, stop listening. There's your warning.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to get a Joe Rogan warning.
Do you remember the morning I outed the Easter Bunny?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I do. I do
That
remember that. I do.
Haunts me.
That because that was within 6 weeks.
It was
2 months.
early.
Yeah, it
so
was the
I'm
first
going to give
Easter.
myself
Yeah, I forgot about
a bit
that.
of a pass to say that I had not been on the air for 5 years.
Yeah, no, I forgot about
I
that.
might not have been
totally forgiven.
Used to getting up that early
Yep.
quite yet. So I might
Yep.
have half been asleep. But I didn't even realize I had done it. Mm-hmm. And we shut
I
off
was
the mics,
I
and
was
I didn't even
horrified.
see your face, and I didn't know you well enough, I guess, to know the Stonewall. But you turned my mic off, and you looked at me. Did you just out the Easter Bunny?
I said, "Did you just out these?"
And I looked at you. I'm like,
Oh my god!
and
then-
thankfully it was the first break of the morning.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think most of our younger audience, hopefully,
Yeah.
that still.
totally forgiven. Give it up. Totally forgiven. All good. All good. Easters have come and gone since.
I know, but it's one of those moments where it really does, especially as a broadcaster, it does. It's like, oh my gosh. Because you always fear that something's going to come out before it gets caught in the filter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was
Has
one
for
of the
me.
mornings. So
Has for
that's something that really
Oh well, then all
stands out
forgiven.
over the last.
Okay,
That was one of the.
that was good.
hiccups.
Yeah. Well, see, I didn't ruin
There's
childhood.
been a lot, but
so
that
I've-
was.
I've
Thanks.
had,
You're such
I've had a stellar career.
Thanks, Mark.
I haven't
Thanks.
ruined anything for a single child by being on the radio. No, it's been
But
fun. It's been fun.
there has, of course, there's been other moments, and I thank you for all of your
Ah,
help
yeah.
and support over the last 3 years, Mark.
Yes. And somebody texted in, and many more. You don't know how old I am. Many more?
You're thinking 3 years. Oh my God, how did we make it 3 years?
3 years.
Do I really have 3 more years of this?
Come on. There's got to be good behavior kicking in sometime. Anytime.
But there's nothing. There's no little thing that
No,
jump-
not really.
No.
No. You know what the problem is we've had a 2-year pandemic. So to me, it's you've had to work from home. It's literally this pivoting all the time to get
That
to
is
this
something
point.
I will never forget, though, either,
Yeah.
having to do that.
We haven't had a regular 3-year on-air relationship. So much of it that I remember is, okay, you got to be at home and I got to figure out this technology and then how are you going to get the information and then all this. And so it was never just real broadcasting. It was, having to learn technology to make it happen. I'm glad we could. I'm glad we're both good enough we can do it. And I'm glad you're patient enough to want to do it that way because I'm not sure everybody would. I know other shows that they couldn't do it, so they were all in the studio, whether they wanted to be or not, whether it was safe or not. But we were able to sort of make that work. So I guess that's a good thing, but that's not the fun of what radio is to me. So that's not a real memorable thing. We were good enough to pull off a
So,
pandemic.
Last 2 years are pretty well sucked then.
Yeah, sort of, Promised I wouldn't edit after this. Yeah, it's dreadful. I hated it. I'm like everybody else in a pandemic. Maybe we'll do something really
Just
great
done.
on Monday.
Just done.
What else you want to talk about? Oh, it's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast.
Yes.
Here on Spotify, where else? Apple Music,
Wherever you get your podcast
wherever
from.
you get your podcasts. Monday's Valentine's Day. Charity says a card, $2. That's it.
No more than $2.
Card,
If
no
you're
more
going to
than
do
$2.
something, no more than $2.
And remember I told you about the little bag that I brought in, but today's present was too big to fit in that bag?
Yes.
So I tried to put Monday's present in. Monday's present's too big again.
$2, Mark.
$2. Big thing goes in the bag. $2.
$2.
Enjoy it. Think about it all weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. Enjoy the Olympics. We'll see you on Valentine's Day with Mark and Charity Mornings.